Hi, and welcome to this vocabulary lesson because we are going to look at synonyms, collocations in context, and words that belong in the word family. I hope you'll stick around with me every single day, learn these 3,000 words with me. Increasingly, increasingly. So in English, because we read from right to left from left to right, and things go up when they get better, I have put this picture this way. But in increasingly, so if I start down in this corner, it's not very intense. But if I move to this corner, it is very intense. The orange is very intense. So increasingly means to move from this side to this side. It can also just mean from less intense to more intense, even if the direction is down. It can, if I put it like this, I would say decreasingly because we read from this side over to this side. So increasingly can mean from less intense to more intense. It can also indicate a movement in this direction, okay? Some synonyms for increasingly are progressively. So progressively and increasingly, they mean to move by gradients or gradually. It doesn't happen overnight. It's just an ever improving or an ever ascending movement. Little by little, gradually, slowly. So we would use increasingly to describe a positive trend. Online learning is becoming increasingly popular among working professionals. This means more people from yesterday are choosing online learning over time. We would probably put that in a positive trend, but it doesn't necessarily have to be positive. For example, murders are increasingly prevalent in our city. Murders are not positive ever. So having them be increasingly prevalent is not a positive connotation. Increasingly doesn't necessarily mean positive or negative. It's just an observation that things are getting more intense. Consumers are increasingly aware of the environmental impact of their purchases. Awareness is growing steadily. So we want consumers to be aware of environmental impact. Therefore, this is a positive statement. Finding affordable housing has become increasingly difficult in many cities. So in this case, this is a negative, right? The challenge is growing over time. Many businesses are increasingly dependent on digital technologies for daily operations. The reliance on technology is growing. So it's this increasingly is this idea of growing or becoming more intense. The speaker's point of view in this is slightly negative. How do I know it's slightly negative? Because we're talking about dependence, and dependence is generally seen as a negative. There's a growing concern. Scientists are increasingly concerned about the effects of climate change. So concern is a worry. Worry is bad. So increasingly concerned would put this in a negative connotation. The concern is becoming stronger over time. Some other examples are artificial intelligence is playing an increasingly important role in healthcare. Young people are increasingly likely to work remotely. So what does this sentence mean if I take increasingly out? Young people are likely to work remotely. This is a statement probably based in fact. If I put the word increasingly in there, then I'm measuring something over time. It used to be that they weren't as likely to work remotely. Now they are more likely to work remotely. The company faces increasingly fierce competition from international rivals. Travelers are becoming increasingly interested in sustainable tourism. The region is increasingly vulnerable to extreme weather events. Increasingly, and then something. So we're using here, vulnerable is an adjective. We're using the adverb increasingly to modify the adjective. So we have words like increasingly important, increasingly expensive, increasingly common. These are when we put the word increasingly with an adjective. We can also put it with a past participle, and honestly, it works exactly the same. Past participles often work as adjectives. Increasingly concerned, increasingly dependent on, increasingly interested in. And then we have the collocation of increasingly likely or increasingly unlikely. This is showing a trend in one direction or another. This is increasingly likely to succeed, or it's increasingly unlikely to succeed. So it's likely to succeed means I would put money on this. I would bet that this will succeed. Increasingly unlikely to succeed. I don't think it's going to succeed. And the increasingly part means I'm looking at the trajectory. It goes up or it goes down, but it's increasing in intensity. The opposite of increasingly is decreasingly. The noun is increase and the verb is increase. And there's really no difference in pronunciation between this noun and verb. Sometimes when you have the same word as a noun and a verb, then we put a different emphasis on it. And you can do that here too. For example, his increase was $50,000. That means he gained $50,000. His increase. And I've put the accent on the in. He increased his income by $50,000. I would love that. He increased. So it does kind of follow the rule, but if you don't get it right, people will still understand you. His increase, the noun, is $50,000. I increase the number of videos. I increase the number of videos by 1 every day. That means I go up 1 every day. Increase, the verb. Increasing is the adjective, and increasingly is the adverb. Increasingly. I really hope that you enjoyed this word. Research shows that if you know 3,000 words, then you can pretty much say anything you need to say. I hope I'll see you tomorrow, and please like and subscribe.